YouTube, this is Vargas recording live from the Vargas Vault, and I just wanted to do another entry in my pros and con videos. Basically, the point of this video series is to express and share all the pros and all the cons of things that I collect or that are a hobby or part of the vault. And in this occasion, I wanted to talk about collectible trading card games. There's a lot of collectible trading card games out there. The biggest ones are, of course, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! And for a while there was a collectible trading card game for pretty much everything. I remember seeing a couple for Star Trek, The Lord of the Rings, Battlestar Galactica. Naruto had a collectible trading card game. Marvel Universe had one, but I haven't gotten into the scene that much. So I know the only one that's still going strong is Magic the Gathering. But once I did try to get into that, and it was too complicated. So the only one I really got into was Yu-Gi-Oh! So I'll mostly focus my personal experience with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, but this also applies for most collectible trading card games. Now, pros. Let's talk first about the pros. And the pros about a collectible trading card game is that it's a very good way to interact with other people. Because you do the duels face to face. You face a person, and you start your duel, and you can interact with that person, and that way. You can meet a whole lot of different people as you're playing along with the collectible trading card game. If you're really good at the collectible trading card game and you build a good deck and you have a good strategy, of course you can participate in tournaments. There are a number of tournaments out there for the bigger trading card games. I know that Magic the Gathering does have a tournament, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a tournament that's nationwide. Same with Pokemon. So it's a great way to meet new people, face to face. The other is that they have really cool artwork. I personally like the artwork quite a bit on the trading card games. They sometimes have different artists. Personally, from the one that I got most into, Yu-Gi-Oh!, they had some really cool artwork on the cards. Especially the horror-themed monster cards. They had some great artwork for things like vampires and zombies and the like. So those cards were really cool to me because they had some really creepy drawings for the monsters. So that was a big pro for me. They got me hooked into the collectible Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. They also had some really awesome dragons, and it does follow a lot of the themes that I like. It has their horror. The horror element, and it has the dragons, because I really like dragons. They're my favorite mythological creature, the dragons. Also, if a collectible trading card game is very popular, it spawns into different products. For example, I remember the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. The first season wasn't really that good. If you wanted tips on how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! The first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! The animated series was not that good, because it didn't follow the tournament rules. It wasn't until my favorite story arc, which is the Domino Battle City story arc, that they incorporated elements and rules from the trading card game. So that's my favorite season of Yu-Gi-Oh! But sometimes you could get tips on how to do some stuff. And even then, not always, because then they would make up rules for the cards, and pull it out of their butt, and then make this card like super unbeatable. But then you would actually play the game, and it turns out that super unbeatable card it doesn't have the same effect. But I'm already an anime fan, so the Yu-Gi-Oh! Animated series, which I have here on the background, was awesome to me because it already had awesome animation, but also it did give you some sort of tips. And that's something when a trading card game becomes really popular, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Did. And if Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still around, there's still a number of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime that come out. And the movies, also movies have come out. So yeah, a very popular trading card game can become a very successful anime. I'm not sure if Magic the Gathering has an anime or some sort of cartoon, but I know Yu-Gi-Oh does. There's also the video games. I know Yu-Gi-Oh spawned a number of video games because I own a couple, and you can fine-tune your deck. The older Yu-Gi-Oh games did allow you to, upload your cards into the game, and then you can build your deck and practice your strategies that way. Of course, it will never beat the human element. The human element will always be a factor in anything. But you could simulate your duels and try to perfect your deck, so that way when you do actually come up and participate in tournaments and stuff like that, you had a better idea of how your deck would work. And even then, again, it would be blind luck. You could practice a bunch of times, and when you really need the card, it wouldn't come out. Also, it spawns a number of products, like this thing. This is the dual disc for the Shield of Orichalcos, or Awake the Dragons story arc. And this is my favorite dual disc. I've been looking for this dual disc forever, and I finally found one at a flea market. And I just like the design of this. And the Shield of Orichalcos storyline, my favorite one is the Domino City, but the Shield of Orichalcos one was a bit darker. But of course you have your traditional Battle City dual discs. These are the dual discs that came out for Battle City. And I have the one, and I have the two, because I bought two. And of course there's the other dual disc that's for the Duel Academy, for, what was it called? Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So it also has that element, because, Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is, again, the only one I have the most experience with, this spawned this kind of thing, which is cool to me because I like it. You know me. I've talked about this before. I like doing costumes, and this is pretty cool. One day I hope to rock a dueling costume. Another pro on Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that it's relatively easy to get into the game. As opposed to Magic the Gathering, which is the only other trading card game that I have any sort of experience with, Magic the Gathering's rules were too complicated, I felt, for me. I know some people that play it, and they don't say it's that complicated, but when I tried to get into it, it was just too complicated, because you had a whole bunch of different rules and stuff to follow. But Yu-Gi-Oh! It's relatively easy to get into. Back in the day, everyone and their mom was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of the friends that I have also got into Yu-Gi-Oh! They would also buy the decks, and they started playing. So it's a very easy game to get into. And Konami, which is the company that... Well, at first it was Konami jointly with Upper Deck, now it's just Konami. They released these things called the structure decks, or starter decks. These are basically specially built decks that contain your 40 cards, sometimes 50, and it comes with monster cards, it comes with trap cards, and spell cards. They used to be called magic cards, but they got into a bit of a problem with Magic the Gathering, so they changed it from magic cards to spell cards. But you could, in theory, start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With one of these, and this is the Kaiba starter deck. I also picked up back in the day the Yugi starter deck, the Joey Wheeler starter deck, and the Pegasus starter deck. And they have a number of starter decks like these. I picked these up because they were the main characters of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Kaiba, Yugi, and Joey. Pegasus would make an appearance here and there, but I got into that, but I bought those because they're the starter decks, or structure decks. You could start playing with one of those. You can, of course, switch cards in and out. There were some cards that were pretty useless, and there were cards that were useful. But you can mix and match, and that's the other thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! That I consider a pro, is that you could customize a deck to fit your style. Back in the day, I never could fine-tune it because I never had the good luck to always pull out the cards that I needed. But I had a really rocking horror-themed deck. Well, I thought it was rocking because I like the images. So I had vampires and zombies and dragons. So I specially designed a deck like that, and also an Earth deck. I had an Earth deck that I was very proud of, but again, never had the luck to actually pull out the cards that I needed when I needed them. But I really got into that. So it does have a lot of pros if you get really competitive into playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, as far as the cons unfortunately are quite a bit. The biggest con, if you're going to go the tournament route, is of course that you have to be super lucky. It does all come down to luck, and if you're lucky, you will pull just the card that you need, because that's something that the anime did, and I always had a problem with, because they were about to lose, and just as they were about to lose, they pulled the card that they needed out of their butt, and then they win the duel. And that's usually how it also goes in the tournaments. If you're lucky enough to pull the card that you need at the beginning, you can pretty much win the duel. But if the luck's not with you, and you don't draw what you need, you're pretty much screwed. You'll lose because the other guy is pulling all his powerful cards. And that's another con from the cards, because if you want to get good, you have to keep buying cards. And you have to buy a lot of ways to get your cards. For example, back in the day, I bought this because I like manga. But another bonus of monthly Shonen Jump was that you would sometimes get free Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading cards. And the rules is that if they release in English, they are tournament ready. So you could use these cards for tournaments. So I would buy monthly Shonen Jump, and especially hunt for the issues that had the trading cards. Especially Yu-Gi-Oh! Because they would sometimes release some really good ones. They released 2 of the God cards in monthly Shonen Jump. They released Obelisk the Tormentor and the Winged Dragon of Ra. The only one I'm missing is the Slifer the Sky Dragon. But also, I would collect, and I did collect, a number of the starter packs. And the thing about that is that they release a bunch of starter packs. It's insane the amount of cards that they released. For example, I still have my original binder, and it's really hard with this thing. Let me take this thing off, because it's kind of hard to navigate the binder with one hand. There we go. So I still have my binder of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and these are all the cards that I still own, and so on, and so on, and so on. So this is a whole binder of cards that I collected, because if you're familiar with me through my channel or know me personally, when I get into something, I go full head on. So when I got into Yu-Gi-Oh, I wanted to be good at Yu-Gi-Oh, so I started buying the booster packs. They're called booster packs, and that's the biggest con about collectible trading card game, is that you constantly have to keep buying these boosters because they keep releasing cards. I mean, it's unless the trading card game fails and has no interest, they'll just keep releasing booster series, and it gets insane the amount of cards that you can buy, because supposedly each set of cards, the booster packs come with 9 cards. Those 9 cards are supposedly randomized into each package, and you get 1 foil card or rare card or super rare. Obviously, the super rare are the more powerful cards, so you might buy 5 packs and not get a good card. You might buy a box and you only get 2 of the powerful cards. So to get good at Yu-Gi-Oh, you have to continuously buy the boosters, because people would hunt down the more powerful cards. And again, the more powerful cards were the freaking super rare cards or secret rare. So if you wanted to get really pro into Yu-Gi-Oh, you had to invest a lot of money on the cards, and that's still to this day. I don't buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards anymore. I bought a few a couple of months ago, because I came across them at a flea market. But you know, to get really competitive, you have to invest a lot of money, and you can end up with thousands of cards, and that you might not even use. I mean, that binder, I started when I would still play, but then the obsessive compulsive part of me started kicking in, so I wanted to buy a complete set of the Yu-Gi-Oh series. So I started trading cards and stuff like that, and but I could never complete the damn thing because I was missing the super rare cards. They had this a really cool hollow foil kind of thing, and then one day I decided, you know what, this is insane. I can't keep splurging money on Yu-Gi-Oh cards just to complete a set or get that one rare super card that's gonna make me good at Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's useless if I don't draw the card when I need it. So I gave up on Yu-Gi-Oh. I haven't gotten rid of any of my Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. I still have I still have my original dual disc, which is this one, and it's already kind of flopping. And these dual discs I bought later. This one's more stable. This one doesn't flop around because I still like the concept of Yu-Gi-Oh. But I don't know anyone anymore that plays Yu-Gi-Oh, at least from my neck in the woods, and that's a big con as well. You might end up with 5,000 cards and all the best cards in the world. But if you don't have anyone to play it with, then it's useless, except for bragging rights, I guess. But and that's something that's a big con. If people lose interest in the trading card game, then you're stuck with a fortune of cards, and unless you can get rid of them quick on eBay or something like that, then Netflix promotion started to kick in. It's kind of hard to. Let me just move the camera because I'm losing light here. It's kind of hard to actually keep it going, keep interest on the trading card, and to this day, I don't know anyone in my neck of the woods that still plays or wants to play Yu-Gi-Oh, because that's something that burns a lot of people out. You have a really cool deck, a very strong deck, and then for the next booster series, they change the rules on you. The card that you had that was really unstoppable gets banned and for tournament play. So now you have to start from scratch. You have to buy the new boosters or the new starter packs and start from scratch, and then fine-tune it again. And then when you reach a point that it's tournament ready, they change the rules on you. And that's a big con for trading card games. That it's done on purpose so that you have to keep buying the cards. It's an endless cycle of purchase and purchase and purchase, and then everything that you had is garbage, and you have to buy new stuff because we decided to change the rules. And that's the biggest con of. Well, the biggest con is that people lose interest, but the other one is that if you still want to keep playing, you have to keep pouring money down on boosters or pay super prices for the cards without having to buy the boosters. And that's something that I've never done. I've never actually seen a card and be like, oh, I'm gonna plop $50 for a card that's I don't have a card on hand that I can share, but well, it's kind of like I just show the cards. They're small cards. Why would you pay $100 for a card? I don't even pay $100 for comic books, and much less a Yu-Gi-Oh card. And it's just it takes me a while, but eventually I do realize that as much as I like something, I'm just not going to invest too much into it, and that comes to each person at some point in their life. And it took me a bit because again, this is a whole binder full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I would honestly love to be able to build a deck and start dueling. If I could ever meet someone that that still duels. I would love to build a deck and start dueling people, but the older cards that I have, I'm pretty sure they're either banned or the rules have been switched, so they're useless and I have to buy another one. I think I showed in a collection pick video, I did buy some Yu-Gi-Oh! Boosters. I was reading the rules, and now they have this weird the extras thing there was when I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the synchros. No, it wasn't the synchros. It was the thing they did in GX. I forget what it was, because I don't want to get too deep into this, but when I bought those boosters, I was like, oh cool, I'm going to read up on all the rules. And there's a bunch of rules, because there's a whole bunch of things, new things you could do. You could summon monsters. The pendulum monsters are the new things that are out, where you could summon monsters and they have magical effects. It got really complicated. That's the reason why I didn't get into Magic the Gathering, because it felt too big. It felt too complicated. There were too many steps that just lost me. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Unfortunately has reached that point where it's not as simple as it was when I started. Now it has all these rules, and downtown there is still a place where they do hold tournaments, but it's with the tournament rules, so you have to use the tournament cards. And but I haven't gone to actually see. I have seen videos on YouTube on Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, but yeah, it's just too complicated. It's too complicated to get into Yu-Gi-Oh! and it's just too much money involved that I don't have. You know, I already have too many hobbies. I have comic books, movies, Nerf guns, all this stuff that I can't get into. You know, really hardcore into Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's a big con of collecting trading card games. So it's fun. When I started, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, you know, getting the cards, because I would get them relatively cheap. They weren't that expensive. At least I didn't think so back in the day. And even the rare cards you could get relatively cheap. But then you know, people started seeing that you can make money off Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, so the prices started getting jacked up, and the hunt for the rare cards would also start getting hard. So I just gave up. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna get rid of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff. It's important to me, because it was an important part of you know, at some point it was an important part of my life, the anime and everything. So I don't think I'll ever get rid of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, but I don't think I'll ever get that invested in plopping the money for Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it never ends. Like I said, they keep releasing to this day booster upon booster upon booster, and each new series introduces something new, and it changes up the rules, and you know, there's your 10 cool cards are worthless, and now you have to buy 20 more cards to be good at Yu-Gi-Oh! So I don't know. It's not for me. Again, I do wish I could find people to casually play, because I can't see myself getting into the tournament play. It's too much. And that's coming from me, you know. That's coming from a guy that's obsessive compulsive and will pretty much collect and get hardcore into anything. You know, anything that has to do with collecting, as my vault will be a test to. You know, see how many movies I buy and share, and you can get an idea how obsessive I can get when I get into something, or you know, all the awesome Nerf guns that I bought, or the movies, or the comic books. When I get like a freaking laser, man, when I get into something, I go all out. But I don't have the money to do that anymore. Not like I used to. Now, you know, I have other responsibilities. So yeah. But I would like to get back into casual play. I would like for my friends to, you know, get into this, but I don't see that happening either. Most, if not all, of the people that I know have gotten rid of their Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff. I'm the only one that still has the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, but all of my friends, unless they're not being honest, but I know that all of my friends have gotten rid of their Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff for sure. So casual plays out of the question, and I don't see myself plopping $500 to start buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards again and to get good at it, because, like I said, a con is that of the hobby is that you have to invest money to get the good cards, unless you're super lucky, buy a booster and bam, you get all the important cards. So it's just too much an investment, and I don't see myself getting into that again. But I did want to share this short, I hope it's a short video, of these pros and cons about something that was important to me at one point in my life. To this day, I still have the cool horror cards. They had some amazing zombie designs and vampires and dragons. Their dragon designs were awesome, and I like that. I do wish that I could make some of them bigger, because as a horror fan, they looked pretty creepy, and I genuinely enjoyed them. Of course, that's another thing I didn't touch upon. The one more con for the Yu-Gi-Oh cards is that they do get censored, especially the religious things and sexualization of the images. Anything that has to do with religious things gets erased. In Japan, there's a lot of demons and a lot of angels, and the angels have halos and they have crosses in their artwork, and the demons have, you know, horns and stuff like that. In Japan, because it's okay. Also in Japan, a lot of the female card artwork shows a lot of cleavage. But when they come into America, they delete all the crosses, all the halos, all the horns. You know, things that might, you know, people might start making protests because they're demonic or stuff like that. And they cover up the cleavage. You know, there's the Harpy Lady. This is the best example. The Harpy Ladies used to just have a little strap here, so you could see a lot of cleavage. But in America, they got, you know, corrected, so you only have like a little thing, and sometimes they reduce the cleavage, and other times it just covered up completely. So that's another con, that they don't respect the original artwork from Japan. And I like a lot of things from Japan. So it does suck that they have to censor that kind of stuff, because I don't believe in censorship. That's something bad. But again, sorry if I ramble and I go on tangents whenever I do a video. But again, I just wanted to share with you this part of you know, the vault, a hobby that I did invest quite a bit of money into, and I don't regret it. It was a lot of fun, but I would not do it again. It's too much money involved. But it did bring me a lot of joy, and I just wanted to share the pros and the cons of this subject, in case you know, somewhere down the line you want to get into it. If you do, call me up or somehow. I would like a casual, you know, partner to play Yu-Gi-Oh, because I miss that. I miss actually playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and not a lot of people want to get back into it. Hell, I'll share my cards. I don't care. I just want to play with someone. But yeah, so I just wanted to share with you guys this this video. I hope you are enjoying the pros and cons series. I still have a bunch of stuff I can talk about, but I'm going I also probably thought that I should write down the pros and the cons. Sometimes I forget after uploading the video, oh, I should have talked about that, or I should have mentioned this, or I think of things as I'm going along. So I don't like scripting my videos. I enjoy videos that are honest and just talk from the heart, and that's what I try to do on my videos, even though sometimes I go all over the place. And but yeah, that's the way I go. So thanks so much for watching the video. Again, I hope you like it. If these videos are well received, I'll continue doing them. But until I see you all again, this is Vargas, signing off from the Vargas Vault. Thanking you all, and see you later.